The wonder of a forest. The forests of the world are the most vibrant of all the land ecosystems on the planet. From under the forest floor, rising to well above its leafy canopy, literally millions of life forms occupy every area of the forest, their lives interwoven with one another like the intricacies of a beautifully crafted tapestry. Thousands upon thousands of years have enabled the forest to form and develop relations between the microscopic creatures, insects, birds and animals, and themselves, which are mutually beneficial and life-sustaining to all. Depending on whether the forests are growing across either the temperate, subtropical or tropical regions of the world, they are very different in the type of trees and cover vegetation, and filled with very different creatures that inhabit them. From conifer forests beginning in the Arctic regions to the giant rainforests of the hot, steamy regions around the equator, the variation is a wonder to behold. The forests of the world give us many of the raw resources that mankind has come to rely on, and much more significantly, they do the vital task of absorbing a large proportion of the dangerous carbon from our air and water, and returning clean, pure oxygen into our atmosphere. This, as you would already know, is one of the more vital reasons for keeping our wonderful forests and helping them to grow and expand in areas all around the world where they flourish. Although our forests are absolutely necessary to keep the health of our planet in good order and to create an environment which will give sustenance and sustainability to the creatures that inhabit them, they also perform another very significant function for us. This other remarkable service that the forests of the world give to us is to help us re-establish our spiritual connection with our ancient past, where, for the most part, our ancestors' lives were totally bound up in the actual and spiritual presence of the great forests. Long before we began to move to establish societies which relied on human beings collecting and living together in ever-increasing numbers, and urban living became the dominant structure of our society, we lived in a world dominated by forests. We lived in the forests, we made our homes from the forests, and we gathered and ate our food from them. It is little wonder that they had such an influence in our lives. Because of their significance to us, they also became totally bound up with our spiritual concept of ourselves and our world. And although our way of life has changed so dramatically, especially in the modern era in which we now live, for most of us, deep in our subconscious self, we are still aware of our more ancient existence and the significance and strength that the spell of the forest can and often does have over us. A comforting sense that we belong there, that we have a right to be able to access the calm, stillness and harmony that is created by the towering tree trunks and cooling shady canopy of green foliage above. The abundance of birds, insects, reptiles and mammals only enhance the primeval experience, and we are, for a short time, taken back to our human roots buried deep in the past. Our calmness of mind and our sense of harmony are greatly enhanced, and we usually, for a short while, have the time to re-evaluate whether some of the things we consider significant are really worthy of being as high up on our list of things in our life. It is true that most of us would find it extremely difficult to return to a life in the forest, even if this was what we really wanted. And, let us be honest, most of us would not even want to. However, we are so fortunate to still have forests available to most of us, where we can visit still to have these wonderful experiences, and we should consider it part of our responsibility as the current custodians of the planet to enlighten and encourage our children, families, and friends and others to appreciate the value, visual magnificence, and spiritual significance of these great and small forest areas growing across the world, which, fortunately for us, are still here and are still accessible to us to enjoy. It may well be a very worthwhile act to thank the Creator of the universe every now and again for his wonderful gift of creating the great forests of the world. The wonder